Good morning everyone. This is Raghu, Assistant Professor of Biotechnology from SRN BJNR Government College, Khammam. So today's topic is DNA repair mechanisms. In the previous class, we have seen how the DNA is damaged by different agents, physical and chemical agents, and also spontaneous mutations. So in this topic, we will see how the bacteria will overcome the damaged DNA. So those are called as DNA repair mechanisms. So while first one coming into the repair mechanism, the first one is photoreactivation. That is light induced DNA repair is called as photoreactivation. This is done when thymine dimers are formed in the DNA. So as in the previous classes I have mentioned how thymine dimers are formed due to non-ionizing radiations called as UV rays. So when UV rays are introduced into the DNA, they form thymine dimers, and these thymine dimers are removed by a repair mechanism called as photoreactivation. And the enzyme that is included in this photoreactivation is DNA photolyase. So this DNA photolyase is the enzyme coded by two genes PHRA and PHRB. So DNA photolyase is the product of PHRA and PHRB, and this enzyme in the presence of light 370 nanometers will split the thymine dimers apart. That means it will convert thymine dimers into single thymine nucleotides. So this is the thymine dimers which are formed due to UV rays, and these thymine dimers are converted into two single nucleotides, thymine nucleotides, with the help of DNA photolyase, which is the product of PHR gene. And this enzyme utilizes 370 nanometers light, hence it is called as photoreactivation or photoreactivation repair mechanisms. That is DNA photoreactivation and removal of thymine dimers in E. coli cells. So the next one is base excision repair. Here a single nitrogen base is removed in this mechanism, hence it is called as base excision repair. And the mechanism is as follows. You can see on the top, right top, there is a red colored rectangular damaged base, and this damaged base is removed with the help of an enzyme called as DNA glycosylase. Immediately, since nitrogen base is removed, there is a gap. It is called as AP site, apurinic apyrimidinic site. Apurinic apyrimidinic site. Since there is no purine, no pyrimidine at this site, it is called as AP site. Now with the help of an enzyme called as AP endonuclease, apurinic apyrimidinic endonuclease, the adjacent 3 to 4 nucleotides including fragment is removed with the help of AP endonuclease. Once it removes the adjacent nucleotides, there will be a gap in the DNA. That gap is filled by DNA polymerase 1 with its DNA repairing activity 5' to 3' polymerization activity. Immediately DNA ligase will seal the nick. So this is the base excision repair mechanism, which is mediated by DNA glycosylases, AP endonuclease, DNA polymerase 1 and DNA ligase. So the next one is nucleotide excision repair, where nucleotide is removed from the DNA. So this is nucleotide excision repair, where you can clearly see. So the red color on the right top is the damaged part of the DNA. So it is identified by UVRA, UVRA and UVRB. First UVRA will recognize the damaged DNA and it will go and attach it to the damaged DNA. It is followed by UVRB. Now UVRB will exactly locate where the damaged DNA is present in the double-stranded DNA as shown in the figure. Once the UVRB locates the exact portion of the damaged DNA, immediately UVRC will come and bind to the either side of the this damaged part. That means a nucleotides covering around 10 to 14 nucleotides, which includes your damaged part also. So once it is occupied, immediately it is replaced by UVRD, where UVRD will flip up the damaged nucleotide and it will remove that damaged part, leaving a gap. So once this gap is created, immediately the UVRD will be removed from the double stranded DNA and the gap is filled by the DNA polymerase 1 and nick is sealed by DNA ligase. So this is called as nucleotide excision repair. So this happens when there is a mismatched nucleotide present in the DNA due to mutations. So that is nucleotide excision repair. So the next one is mismatch repair. So mismatch repair mechanisms. So mismatch repair means the mismatch means it does not follow Watson-Crick base pairing. So generally, if you see the diagram on the left top, actually G should pair with C. G should pair with C, but in the diagram it is shown is G is paired with T. So that is mismatched DNA. There is a nucleotide pair that is mismatched in the DNA. So here the black one is the parental strand and the blue one is the daughter strand. So there is a mismatch in the daughter strand. The parent strand shows G, whereas the daughter strand should show C complementary to G, but it is showing T. Now this T has to be removed. So here the mismatch repair enzymes are MUT proteins, MUT S, L and H. First, the mismatched proteins will differentiate between parental and daughter DNA, and daughter DNA. So where the parental DNA is identified because it is methylated. So parental DNA is methylated, so it is identified from the daughter DNA. So methylated DNA to methylated DNA, these MUT proteins will go and bind MUT S, L and H. After that, the MUT L will activate MUT H to remove a sequence of 10 to 15 nucleotides in the daughter strand, which includes your damaged or mismatched nucleotide. So once MUT L activates MUT H, it will remove the 10 to 14 nucleotides in the daughter DNA, which contains the mismatched nitrogen base also, giving a clear gap in the double stranded DNA. So now this gap is filled by DNA polymerase 3. Previously DNA polymerase 1 is used. Here DNA polymerase 3 is used in mismatch repair mechanism. So which is a principal enzyme involved in the DNA replication. So during DNA replication, if at all while synthesizing any mismatches happen, they will be removed by this process. Since during DNA replication the principal enzyme is DNA polymerase 3, so these proteins will assist DNA polymerase 3 only for gap filling in the daughter strand instead of DNA polymerase 1. So this is called as mismatch repair mechanism. So the next one is SOS repair mechanism. SOS repair mechanism, save our soul repair mechanism. So this SOS repair mechanism is widely followed by the bacterial species when there is an extensive DNA damage. Generally, there are certain proteins called as LEX-A proteins, where you can see in the right position blue in color. LEX-A proteins generally they will suppress the SOS genes. Whenever there is an extensive DNA damage, immediately these LEX proteins are deactivated. So first the REC-A activation will take place, REC-A, and this REC-A will cleave the LEX-A proteins, or REC-A will activate LEX-A such that it is auto cleaved. When REC-A is activated, it will auto activate this LEX-A. where it will cleave itself. Once LEXA levels are decreased, immediately SOS genes will be activated. Then they will activate all the nucleotide excision repair, base excision repair, mismatch repair, and photoreactivation enzymes. At a time wherever the DNA is damaged, all the nucleotides, bases, thymine dimers are removed by the other repairing enzyme systems. So in this SOS repair mechanism, RECA is activated, it will autolyse LEXA. Once it is autolyzed, SOS genes are activated and they will activate other enzymes which are involved in the other repair mechanisms such as nucleotide excision, base excision, mismatch repair, as well as photoreactivation. So that is the major DNA repair mechanisms which are followed by the bacterial species. So next topic is bacterial recombination. How foreign DNA will be recombinantly incorporated into the bacterial genome. So that is called as bacterial recombination. So there are three major process of bacterial recombination which is shown in the left side of the figure: transformation, transduction, and conjugation. In transformation, cell-free DNA is taken by the bacteria and that is incorporated into the genome. That is called as transformation. Taking up of cell-free DNA and incorporating into genome is called as transformation. And its mechanism we will see later. And in transduction, it is called as phase-mediated gene transfer mechanism, where bacteriophage play an important role in transfer of genes from one bacteria to another bacteria. And once they are transferred, they are incorporated into their genome. So this is called as transduction, phase mediated gene transfer mechanism. So the third one is conjugation, where the genome or genetic material is transferred between bacteria by physical contact between the bacterial species with the help of pillus or pili. So that is called as conjugation. So gene transfer by physical contact with the help of pillus is called as conjugation. So these are the three different mechanisms that are followed in bacterial recombination. So first of all, we will see about conjugation. In conjugation, there will be four different kinds of cells you can observe. The first one is F plus cells. So here the blue one indicates the main genome and the red color indicates the plasmid genome. F means fertility factor. So the first one is F plus cells. F plus cells, they contain main bacterial chromosome and the extra bacterial chromosome, that is plasmid. So the fertility factor is present on this F plasmid. If a cell lacks this plasmid which is having the fertility factor, it is called as F minus cell. If the F plasmid is integrated into the main bacterial DNA, then such a type of cell is called as HFR cell. If the plasmid DNA after integration, if it comes out with some bacterial chromosome and it exists as a plasmid, so the plasmid contains plasmid genome plus a little amount of bacterial DNA, then it is called, such type of cell is called as F prime cell. So F plus cells contain bacterial chromosome plus F plasmid. F minus cell only contain bacterial chromosome. HFR cell contains genome where plasmid is integrated into it. F prime cell contains bacterial genome plus plasmid which has some bacterial DNA. So these are the four different cells which are involved in the conjugation. So the first one is conjugation between F plus cell and F minus cell. So this is the diagram in the left side showing conjugation between F plus and F minus cell. So a part of the main bacterial DNA, the F plus cell contain the plasmid DNA which is having fertility factor. And during conjugation, this F factor, that means which is present on the plasmid DNA, it is transferred into the conjugating bacteria, that is F minus cell, the conjugating bacteria, that is F minus cell. And during the process, the gene transfer will be by rolling circle DNA replication, which we have seen in DNA replication process. And during the transfer, it has been transferred into the F factor from F plus cell to F minus cell. The F factor will be transferred with the help of rolling circle DNA replication. So that is conjugation between F plus and F minus cell. After the conjugation, the fertility factor will be present in both the cells. So both the cells will become F plus cells. So that is F plus and F minus cell conjugation. So the next one is HFR cell. As I have already mentioned, HFR cells genome contain plasmid DNA integrated into it. Now a conjugation between HFR and F minus cell, the transfer will be by rolling circle replication only. After the transfer, you can clearly see the F minus cell will remain as F minus cell, because some amount of plasmid DNA will remain into the HFR cell and only a few amount of bacterial genome will be transferred into F minus cell. That means fertility factor containing gene will remain in the HFR cell. Only bacterial DNA will be transferred into F minus cell and it is integrated into F minus cell. Since the fertility factor remains in the HFR cell, it is not transferred into F minus cell. After conjugation, the F minus cell will remain as F minus cell. So this is the only conjugation where during conjugation the fertility factor is not transferred into F minus cell. So after conjugation also the F minus cell will remain as F minus cell. So that is the conjugation of HFR and F minus cell. So the next one is conjugation between F prime and F minus cell. F prime cell means it contains a plasmid having some bacterial DNA. So that will come, that is called as F prime cell. And a conjugating other member will be F minus cell, and the mode of gene transfer is rolling circle DNA replication. After the gene is transferred, the plasmid, it will transfer the fertility factor also to the F minus cell, and after the process of conjugation, both the cells are called as F prime cells. They contain main bacterial DNA plus a plasmid DNA containing some amount of the bacterial DNA. Since both of them having the same amount of plasmid with same gene information, both of them called as F prime cells. So F minus cell after conjugation will become F prime cell if it is conjugating with F prime cell. So that is conjugation process. So gene transfer by physical contact and the conjugation process F plus, F minus, HFR, F minus cells, F prime and F minus cells. So that is conjugation. So next one is transformation. So transformation is generally, this experiment was given by Griffith. Griffith has given this transformation experiment. Generally he used Streptococcus or Diplococcus pneumoniae bacteria. So this experiment was given by Griffith for proving DNA as genetic material. So that topic will be covered under DNA as genetic material. What are the different bacteria he has used and what is the condition of the mice and all. But here we will discuss about the how the cell-free DNA is taken by the bacteria and it is integrated into its genome. So transformation is taking up of cell-free DNA and integrating it into main bacterial genome is called as transformation. So the left side portion you can see clearly the DNA fragments, the recipient cell. So it is taking the cell-free DNA, and after taking, sometimes it will be integrated into its genome, or sometimes the unrecombinant DNA will be degraded. So completely 100% of DNA cannot be integrated into its genome. Only having complementary genes will be integrated into its genome, and the remaining DNA will be degraded by the bacteria. And while coming to the mechanism, you can clearly see the mechanism. So bacterial chromosome, you can see clearly the diagram. Transforming DNA, that is cell-free DNA. So on the surface of the bacteria there are DNA binding proteins and competence factors. So competence factor, sometimes during recombinant DNA experiments, calcium chloride is used as competence factor. It opens the proteins which are present on the membrane of the bacteria and plays an important role in the transfer of the DNA, that is cell-free DNA, from outside to inside the bacteria. So that is the role of calcium chloride. Here the competence factors are mesosomes in case of gram-positive bacteria, and some other proteins which are called as DNA binding proteins that will drag the DNA from outside to inside the bacteria. Sometimes if the length of the DNA is more, then the competence factor or DNA binding proteins will make them into shorter fragments, and they take up the shorter fragments into the cell. Inside the cell, Rakia proteins, which we have seen earlier, which are involved in the DNA repair mechanism. So the same Rakia protein plays an important role in the recombination of the cell-free DNA into the main bacterial DNA by homologous recombination. So the cell will be transformed. So that is how the cell-free DNA from outside the cell, with the help of competence factor, DNA binding proteins, Rakia protein, will be dragged inside the cell, and it is incorporated into the bacterial genome by homologous recombination. So this is called as transformation. So the next one is transduction, phase mediated gene transfer mechanism, where a bacteriophage play an important role in the transfer of some genes between the bacteria. Here the transduction is of two types: specialized transduction and generalized transduction. So you can clearly see the generalized transduction, where a phage infects the bacterial cell, and after that it will synthesize its own proteins. So the same process where the lytic cycle happens, where the bacteria are infected with a phage, and the phage multiply in number by replicating its DNA, and after replicating its DNA it is packed into caspids, and a lysis of cell will take place, and phages will be allowed to come out of the bacterial cell. So the same thing will happen here in generalized transduction. The same thing will happen, but unfortunately the caspid, sometimes instead of viral genome, the bacterial DNA will be loaded into the caspid. So the capsid contains the capsid of viral, that is bacteriophages, and the DNA of bacterial. After that, the same phase will infect another bacteria, where the bacterial DNA which is packed into the phase is transferred into the other bacteria, where it will be incorporated into its genome. So this is called as generalized transduction, where mismatchingly the caspid contains the bacterial DNA, that bacterial DNA will be transferred onto another bacteria where it will be incorporated. This is generalized transduction. In specialized transduction, the capsid sometimes will carry viral as well as bacterial DNA. So we know about lysogenic cycle. In lysogenic cycle, the viral DNA will be incorporated into the bacterial DNA and it will remain until it is induced to lysis. So that is called as prophase DNA. So the bacteria contains viral DNA, then it is called as prophase DNA. So after induction, the viral DNA will come out of the bacterial DNA and the viral DNA contains some part of the bacterial DNA. And after synthesis of capsids, this particular DNA of viral which is having the bacterial genome will be incorporated into this capsid. And after lysis, this capsid will go and bind to other bacteria and introduce this viral DNA which is having some bacterial genome, and these bacterial genes now they will be incorporated into the newly infected host of bacteriophage. So this is called as specialized transduction. Sometimes some missing genes from one bacteria to another bacteria are transferred from one bacteria by another bacteria to another bacteria by the phages with the help of this specialized gene transfer. So the main difference is in generalized transduction directly the capsid contains bacterial DNA. In specialized transduction, along with the capsid contains the viral DNA along with the bacterial DNA. So here the phase is called as specialized transducing phase in specialized transduction, since the phase contains viral DNA, some bacterial DNA also. So this is how genes are transferred with the help of phages by transduction between the bacteria and is homologously recombinated into the bacterial DNA. So that is today's topics: DNA repair mechanisms and bacterial gene transfer mechanisms. Thank you for patiently listening to the topics.